Hi, welcome back to our discussion about how to apply for the Stipendium Hungaricum Scholarship Program 2026. Previously, I have talked in detail about the benefits it offers, the eligibility criteria, choosing your degree program, and filling in the application forms. One of the most important parts of the application is writing a motivation letter. So, today I'm going to show you the easiest method to write your motivation letter. Trust me, it is not chat GTP because the purpose of motivation letter is to tell your story in a way that shows you are the most suitable candidate to study the subject that you have selected at a particular university. Remember, the purpose is not to ask for the scholarship, but to prove that you are the right student to study the particular degree program. For example, if you want to study international relations, you have to show that you are really interested in the subject and that you have future goals and plans that are connected to the subject that you want to pursue. Before you start writing the letter, there are some technical details that you have to keep in mind. First, you have to write at least 400 words, but not more than 600 words. Second, the letter must address the particular university that you have selected to apply for. Third, it should be written in a letter format and it must have three parts: the introduction, body, and the conclusion. Fourth, pay attention to the writing style and grammar and don't forget to put the date and your signature. I want to emphasize on two important points again. First, that motivation letter is the most important part of your application. Second, the goal of writing the letter is to answer this question: why you are the most suitable candidate. Now, let me show you step by step how to write the motivation letter. So, when you read the application guide for the Stipendium Hungaricum program, you can see that besides other instructions, they have also described how to write a motivation letter. And when you read the details, the first thing you can notice is that it is written that motivation letter is the most important section of your application process. And it aims to answer this question: why you are a suitable candidate. So, just to repeat some technical guidelines that I have already mentioned before, one important thing is that you have to follow the minimum and maximum character limit, which is mentioned in the application portal, and that is you have to write it between 400 and 600 words, not less than 400 and not more than 600. That is the specific requirement for words. And the other important thing is you have to write it in the letter format. I will show you a sample of letter format at the end. And what it means that the logical order of the motivation letter should be first introduction, content, which you call body generally, and then the closing remarks. Besides these instructions, they have mentioned at least 8 to 12 questions that you have to answer while writing the motivation letter. So some questions, at least three questions are related to PhD students, and most of them can be applied to bachelor's and master's students also. So what I have done is I have rearranged these questions and put them in this logical order of introduction, body, and closing remarks. And I'm going to tell you some possible answers that you can use to answer these questions. Let me show you what I mean here. So you are going to write the motivation letter, and so this is the logical order of those questions that I have arranged here. In introduction, I have chosen some questions from the given list that you can answer in introduction part, and the other questions you can answer in the content part, the body part, and then I have mentioned also some closing remarks. So let's begin with questions that you can answer in the introduction. So in introduction, you have to answer
at least according to the list of questions, you have to answer two questions. The first is why you have chosen to apply to this program. The first thing you're going to do is you are going to mention your name, your full name, name of your country, and then you can start writing like my passion for, or I'm interested in, name of your major, and the degree. And you can also mention a book or a person or a problem that inspired you, that made you interested in this particular degree. You can also mention that. And maybe some particular skill that you have, or a habit that you have that is related to the subject that you want to study, that makes you interested in pursuing the degree. You can also mention that. And in the introduction also, you have to answer this question: what do you expect to gain from your studies? You can say you want some research skills in your own particular area. You are looking for quality education, and you are looking for international exposure because you are moving into a different country. You can also mention these things. And anything that you have a particular, if you have a particular outcome from studying that particular subject in Hungary, or in this particular area, you can also mention that. So this is your introduction part, and it should consist of, let's say, 6 to 8 lines, and not more than that. Moving on to the next part, which is the important part of a motivation letter. You have to, in the first paragraph of the body, you can answer two questions that are mentioned in the list. The first is, why does your background make you a suitable candidate? So you can discuss your previous relevant studies, that your previous studies are relevant to the current study that you want to pursue. Maybe you have some work experience that is related to the subject. Maybe you have done some internship that is also that can be also relevant to the subject you want to study. If you have done some relevant research work, that it's going to be a good point here. You can also mention that. Maybe you have got done some training in particular area that is related to the subject that you want to study. You can also mention that in this part. And the second question is, why did you apply to study in Hungary? So this question is not just about the country; it's about the particular university and particular department that you have applied or you have selected to study. You have to talk about the university. If you know the ranking of the university, you can mention that it is top most university in Hungary or in the world. You can mention, but if you know a particular teacher, particular lecturer, particular person in the department, that is also going to look good for the selection committee. You can talk about the study environment and how friendly it is. You can talk about in general about Hungary, that it has produced at least 16 Nobel laureates so far in physics, mathematics, and other subjects, in literature. So the latest one was in literature, that you can also mention this important point. Or you can say that you are interested in the beauty of the country, or you can say also that you are interested in the culture of the country and you want to explore it. So this is your first paragraph, second paragraph of your motivation letter, but it is the first one in the body part. Moving on to the third paragraph, you can answer three relevant questions here. So these all are related here. The first is, how will the program help you achieve your goals? And this question means that you have to mention your goals. What are your goals? For instance, you can say that you want to master your subject, you want to know more about your subject, you want to understand the subject, or you want to achieve some particular research skills through studying this subject. Or maybe you want to solve a personal problem or a problem on a community level, that this subject, studying this subject, is going to help solve this problem. Second question in this paragraph is, how does your proposed study relate to a particular development challenge or need at the global, national, and or local level? So this question is relevant to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So what you are going to do is you are going to read about these Sustainable Development Goals, and you have to identify which goal is relevant to this program. For instance, is it related to poverty if you are studying economics, or it is about good health if you are studying medical science? uh, is it about quality education if you are studying something related to education, gender equality if you are studying sociology or social studies, social work, clean water if you are uh, studying some technical field? So you have to relate your subject to one of these goals, and then you have to mention some problems that you face in that area in your own country in general, and in particular in your own community where you come from. So you have to mention relate these general goals to your problems at community level. So this is the way you can answer this question. The third question is, how will you utilize your new skills and qualifications when you return home? So this question is related to the first one, the second question, and you can relate uh, your subject area with the problems identified above. So in the second question, you must have identified the problems on local level, and then you can use uh, this question to answer how you are going to utilize your skills, how you're going to solve it. Maybe you are going to be an organizer in the community. Maybe you are going to be a researcher about the problem in your community. Maybe you want to be a mobilizer to help to mobilize people to solve a particular issue in your country. So you have to identify a particular role for yourself. How do you see yourself in future using your skills after studying this subject? So this is a very important part of your motivation letter. And the fourth paragraph is about answering this question: what challenges would you expect to encounter while studying in a foreign country, and how could you prepare for these challenges? I can mention some challenges. Maybe you have some idea if you have lived in a different place than your own community, then you have a better idea. So the first challenge could be a new language. You don't know how to speak the language. It could be about a new culture. You are from a different culture, so that could be a challenge. That could be more specifically the food that you would be um, you, you would have to eat a different type of food. Maybe it's a challenge for some people. uh, you have to decide this for yourself. And one of the challenges that is common to students here that I know is being away from your family and friends, and you have to answer how you are going to manage this distance that is going to happen between your family. This could be answered like, if you have already previous experience of living away from your family, maybe within your own country, you move to a different city, that is a good point to answer this question here. And maybe you have visited other countries, and you know how different countries, people are uh, how people live in with different cultures. And your visits to other countries, you can say that you are used to different cultures because you have visited other countries or other cities in the world. This way you can answer this question. And finally, the conclusion part in this. So I have not mentioned any question here, but since they have mentioned themselves that you have to include concluding remarks. So in concluding, you can show your confidence, you can express your excitement and your commitment to follow through the process of completing the degree, putting your effort into learning the subject. And don't forget to thank the selection committee for considering your application. And you can end on an optimistic note. Okay, so uh, this is the logical order of motivation letter. Besides this, for PhD students, there are some additional questions that I have integrated them with already that question that are already mentioned in this logical order. So the extra remark is for PhD students only, and that is you have to explain your previous experience is connected to the research that you intend to carry out. So you have to show some particular uh, area that you have worked on, that you have studied, that you have got a training in, and how that experience is related to these current studies. You have to also give clear reasons why your research is important, and your arguments should be valid and academically proven. So that means you can use your research proposal to at least write two or three lines here, that why your research is significant, why it is important. And finally, you have to state clearly why you would like to pursue doctoral studies, PhD studies in Hungary.
If you follow this simple method, you are going to write an excellent motivation letter. To find out what to expect in the entrance exam and interview, or how to find a potential supervisor, tune into my next videos and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.